Hello, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. Sorry for the wrong intro there. I was uploading something else for the roundtable and had it in the wrong brand folder. Anyway, this is the Dragonchain Update Show. This is episode 76. That is 0xf6. It is Hex, and it is the 247th consecutive weekly episode. A reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice. And stay tuned after the updates for the weekly AMA. This week on Dragonchain Updates, our Super Happy Dragon Lucky distribution for last week's governance lot. The episode created 824 lot. There were 3 questions for 103 lot each. There was 1 featured post for 103 lot. The host received 103 lot, and Dragonchain received 309 lot. Next, we go to Den.Social updates. And this week, the LCP layers from April 2024 LCP are now live. The winners were biohacking. Looks like we need some branding on it, right? I need to go in there and see if there are any votes up for it. And that was by unique voters. And by lore committed, it was Pakistan. So to date, this is interesting to note. Please take note. There have been over 276 million lot NFTs for 177 layers created just by the layer creation process. So for free, and I guess for lore, right? And several have paid in ETH in Matter as well. So 276 million NFTs though. It's pretty good, I would think. Let's see, here's the announcement itself. So, go through there and, take note, make sure that you do whatever you can do if you're a member of either of those layers, those new layers. Next, we go to DinDAO updates, which has a new format. So you see the post in the DinDAO layer, reply with a comment or topic for discussion. We will discuss in line. And if somebody hasn't replied to your question, please just ping one of us or make sure that lately I've been very busy, so I've not been able to pay much attention to that. But it's very important that we keep up to date with anything that needs to happen. Next, World Blockchain Roundtable updates. In case you missed it, last week's episode was how do we get grandma to start using blockchain? It was super good. Lisa's grandma was actually on, or Lisa's mom. Sorry, Lisa's mom was actually on, and it's actually a really good discussion about all of the uses and use cases for blockchain. Then we go to World Blockchain Roundtable. Let's see here. The next episode, 153, airs today. Subverting corrupt governments with blockchains. And this is, let's see here. I'm not sure who's going to be on there today. Let's see if there are any questions yet. Of course, IM4AM has some questions. So get in there and create some more. There are 2 there only so far. So you probably you could probably get in the mix. And let's see here. So that's all of that. DRAKARIA updates. Don't have anything yet, but the blockchain section is getting written up. There's some very interesting new advancements or new tech involved in that will be very interesting if you are interested in collectibles, digital collectibles, NFTs, or especially brand new tech. And we're still in the process of getting the information out there to make sure that people have a chance to understand it before we really start moving stuff. So get in there and understand it now. They will start on the X account, which is DRAKARIA World. They will start very soon with the gateway key giveaways, where you would be able to spawn a new egg and get a dragon, and it would be free. So anyway, if you can, make sure you get in there and I guess, read the white paper and figure out what's coming next. Okay, so now we go to the AMA questions, which is right here. And I'll bring that up. I'm going to refresh this live so you can see. I don't know if anybody else has added anything. I'm going to add some energy to this. And I will try to vote as we go. Yes, it's big enough to read. Okay, first question from Dayrox the Great. Dayrox the Great. I want to change the ETH wallet on which I have Dragon Matter and access to Den. How to do it so as not to lose anything and not to transfer everything from Den.Social. Okay, so very good question. They're probably separate answers for each of these. So Dragon, you can move it at any time, of course, but pay attention if you have accumulated, if you have built up much time that you will want to go, and I don't even want to tell you verbally what it is. You need to follow the steps perfectly. That essentially you need to move your dragons, and then you have to move a certain amount of dragons to the I can't remember what we called it, but it's essentially the wallet that accepts a small fee of dragons. I think it's like 25 dragons, maybe something like that, to essentially move your time with your dragons. And there's another step. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what the order is. So, but it's very precise because it allows your time to move with the dragons, and then you're fine. Then, if you're using those on DragonNet, you would go for, let's say, an L2, for an L3, for an L4, to run a verification node on the network. You would then just claim that new address in the console and then assign the time. So make sure you follow that through if you're already using the time as a verification node. If you're using it for a business node, of course, it's very similar to the same thing. You need to still move the time. You still need to claim that new address, and then you still need to assign it to your business node, your L1. So that's Dragon side. For Matter, if you have Matter in the console, you will not have to do anything. You can move whatever you're moving on the outside. If the Matter is on the outside, then you move it on the outside. Then you come into the console so that you can I guess, claim your address. You could probably leave the old address. I don't think it'll matter, but you can remove that claim as well. And you would claim the new address, which would then look at the Matter for all of the governance and the lore and everything else that happens on Den. So, and feel free to reach out, to make sure you're doing everything right. But on the only one that's really particular you have to be careful with is Dragon. The Matter one, you can mess up. Don't mess up and send it to the wrong place, but you can mess up by not claiming it, or you could unclaim it first and then move it and then claim it again. You can do whatever you want there. It'll work. It's relatively simple. Okay, great question. Next question, Aladita Drakaria. Very cool graphic. Hello, Dragon family. I hope everyone is doing good. Yes. Question, Joe, can you please explain some more about magic, which can be obtained from higher density eggs in Drakaria? And if possible, give us some examples of these magical abilities dragons will have. In games, particular dragon abilities stays the same for every game. Okay, so there are a couple of philosophical questions here, and I'm going to open up white paper. So give me a second here, because, and I will share it when I have it up. All right, here I go here I go here. So I didn't expect this question. So I'm going to share this tab, and I'm going to go down to, where do we have magic? I'm just going to search for it so it's easier. Okay, page at 40. Where are we at? Still. a ways away. So it's almost at the end, right? Okay. Magic is, and in fact, I struggled with how to describe this because it's kind of a forked formula, or it's you have to represent it as a pseudo algorithm here. So it isn't only high density eggs that can get magic. Um, we put this in for a couple of reasons, and that I'll get to as the second part of the answer, where it's somewhat of a philosophical answer. But anyway, when you get a density, it's unpredictable what you'll get. You get that right when your egg spawns. Um, the range is from 100,000 to, I believe, 10 million, and there are 8 different densities. In fact, I should have shown that. And here, I'm going to actually show that because it's important. So page 9. Be nice if they were closer together. As something maybe to consider. Here we go, page 9. So the egg density is selected from, you do spawn hash with modulus 1000. I don't know if it's modula or modulus. Apologies. But so we get an answer from 0 to 999, and it comes entirely from your spawn hash. So it takes the entire spawn hash, modulus 1000, and you get a number. And you can see that most of them are going to be 375,000. I shouldn't say most. Half of them are going to be 375,000, and that's just as a probability. We're not controlling that. That is literally just probabilities. 20% are going to be 250,000. 20% are going to be 500,000. Only 2.5% will be a million. Only 1.4% will be 2.5 million. Only 1% will be 5 million, and only 0.1% will be 10 million. And I think what 0.1%, that'd be like is that 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10? 1 in 10,000? It'd be 1 in 1,000, I think. And then 5% would be 100,000. And each of these is the essentially the inverse probability of an egg hatching on the next given Ethereum block. Okay. So, and these are tuned so that with this layout, we've run tests with this distribution. We've run tests of over 2 million eggs, and we ran them with simulated data, because there is no blockchain that lasts long enough for some of these tests. And essentially, one of the eggs took 12 years to hatch because we had a very small number in that million of these 10 million density eggs. So very unlikely to hatch. So now I go back to here, and sorry, hopefully this is not, I probably not the best. I need to refine this and find a better way to describe this in a very simple way. But either way, that if you have a low density egg, so less than a million, and if you look here, it's any of these eggs. So you have a low density egg in the lower half, then if your incubation period, that is the number of blocks that have passed since your egg spawned, is greater than that density, right? So if you have a low density egg, again, we'll go back here. If you have a low density egg, let's say I have an egg that's 250,000 density, about 1 in 5 is going to have that. If I go more than 250,000 blocks before the egg hatches, I will get stable magic. And my magic will be my incubation period divided by the density. So the higher magic in that case would be if I have a really long hatch. Let's say I'm supposed to have hatched, I have a 1 in 250,000 chance of hatching on any given block. And if more than 250,000 blocks pass, all of a sudden I should start getting magic. But if I go longer and longer and longer, let's say I go a million, then my magic level is going to be 4, right? Because 1 million incubation period divided by my density, 250,000, is going to be 4. And it is the opposite for high density eggs. So if I have an egg, let's say of 5 million density, I have a 1% super rare egg, right? And that's just on the egg side. The dragon might not be rare. Maybe it's a very normal dragon otherwise, right? But the egg is rare. So uh, if I have that 5 million and my density is greater, so it's greater than a million, and my incubation period is less than my density. So let's say I have a 5 million density, and my egg hatches totally randomly. Well, not randomly, with the entropy there, in let's say 1 million blocks. So 1 million blocks has passed, and my egg starts to hatch. Now I'm going to have magic, and it's going to be unstable magic, and the amount of magic is going to be the density divided by the incubation period. So it's going to be my 1 million divided by my 5 million divided by my 1 million. So I'll have a magic of 5. Right. That's how it works. It's interesting. So now we get to the second part of the question. Hopefully that you understood that. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's an amazing system because it's very organic. And when we've run out those tests with those distributions, you couldn't predict when something would hatch. And when you look at all of them together, some of them take a long time to hatch, and some of them hatch really fast, and a lot of them hatch right in that middle. So we essentially have seen that approximately 50% of them will hatch around by around the 1 month, the 30-day period, which is one season. So it was a very organic system. What is the magic for? So we were very careful not to put any genes on the dragon that would pigeonhole it for future games. That is, we don't we expect to not be the only people, the only team, the only group that is going to make games with these or going to use them for other things, right? Card games, board games, first person, whatever. That the intent, it was that we wanted to have relatively general traits, genes. Most of them are literally for the visual. The horns. You can look at all the genes, the back spines, the colors, of course, the eye color, the companion color, pattern color, the way a pattern shows. It's all very visual, nothing to do with gaming. There are a couple like temperament, which is I think it's called pleiotropy or pleiotropy. I'm not sure the pronunciation, but essentially where one gene controls other genes. But that has kind of a dual meaning, because like temperament can mean, is this dragon extreme, very extreme, or is it mild? What is this dragon like? That could be used in games. Much the same, magic is just it's intentionally added as a rarity, because in the case where you don't expect this egg to hatch, some of the dragons will get magic. And it's an interesting thing, because that is not it is not a passable and inheritable trait if you were to breed these dragons later. That magic itself is literally down to the individual, which again, another organic thing, very much like the egg density itself, right? So some things are very genetic that you could inherit if you breed them. Some things are entirely based upon that individual and its spawning and attaching and everything else. It's very organic. And there is one more in there, which is magic proficiency, which is a gene, and it is inheritable. So you might get a high magic proficiency, but have no magic in this dragon, yet it makes sense to breed it with another dragon and hope that you spawn some dragons that have magic. So really cool stuff there. But yeah, the magic itself is very generalized. We do expect that you would be able to use it in a game. And if you think of simple games, card games, strategy, board, something like this, or if you think of something in terms of a first person, the magic could be a cool thing in the game, but it totally depends on the game. And the reason, by the way, that we did this and we kept a lot of these traits as generalized as we could bear was that we we want to leave it open. So you could make a sci-fi game using the dragons. We don't want to make it entirely a predefined lore or anything else, as well as the fact that if the game then has a special need, they need a differentiator, and of a certain, what will be a gene or multiple genes. Let's say they need a specific type of magic, or they need something very particular to their game. They will be able, and you can read it, it's very close to the end of the white paper, the registration and extension of a genome, where you can add for a game or for any purpose, really, even for a collectible, you can literally add any gene you want, but you have to register it in front. You have to point to the original genome, and then you can use that gene. And it's entirely, I don't know if you'd want to say fair. It's unpredictable what every single existing character, in this case dragons, would have. And you can use this for any character as well. So anyway, sorry for that very long answer. Hopefully it was useful. That was a great question, though. So thank you very much. Aladita, deleted. I am for I am. Didn't question. How much time do we have? 9:24. Let me look at the comments. Let's see here. Do you think, this is from I am for I am, do you think that the NSA, FBI, CIA, or other intelligence agencies have a backdoor to Den.Social? Maybe the best option for tracking our posts could be monitoring, spying on individuals via their device, i.e. keystrokes. What do you think? I don't know. How do I say this? They have a backdoor to everything. And that's your TV, your trash can, your toaster, your refrigerator, definitely your phone, definitely your machine. And there's no doubt they have access all the way down to the chips. I don't know who does. I don't know all of the, nobody does, but we all know that they do have some level of that control or ability to sniff anything they want. As well, I would say every single library out there is either open source or they have some other backdoor. I mean, I remember stuff at Disney. They were asking us about backdoors. We with what was the blockchain there, and we were never approached again about it. But our answer was, well, I mean, you can apply any cryptographic algorithm you want to it, or any way of doing your signatures that you want. So you could do whatever you want if they needed that. But we were never asked to do anything, honestly. And for Den.Social, we use a lot of open source libraries, obviously, almost entirely. We use Linux, so all of those things would be potential holes. And we also use cryptographic curves. We use the Ethereum blockchain for Matter and Lore and Lot. But we also use DRAKARIA's own, right? And the interesting thing about that is, the good thing is that you do have the ability to trust that this transaction was really the transaction, because it can be tested all the way. We probably need to add more ability to introspect all of the chain data, but we haven't had the resources to do that. We used to have them up there. And if that were ever a concern, it could be done. And I think the API is there. I just think there's not a user interface to it. That the API is as it was before. You can inspect the chain, but I don't know that anybody does. Maybe they do. And that said, the reason I bring that up is I have the opinion that they very likely have a hole into even Bitcoin's curves. I would be very surprised if they didn't. No, just seeing what's going on in the world and how things work. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, so that was a great question. That's what I think. Hopefully it wasn't too crazy anyway. That's the AMA. We have no featured content, no featured post today. Sorry about that. I think we had 3 questions. Great questions. Everybody, great questions. I didn't vote on I am for AM, so I'm going to do that live. Right now, it was a question. It was about Den. It was very original. Next, we are going to say, make sure you go get some Dragonchain merch. It is summertime, so there are lots of t-shirts available, of course. You get any color. The purple one's very beautiful of the Den logo. The red one, of course, the standard, and the standard with the Den. Oh, and then the Den.Social shirt, right? Anyway, go get some merch. It's good. And also, very, I don't know if the word is apropos for today. Anyway, very, very timely either way, that we need money in a legal fund if you have any ability. If you don't worry about it. Don't feel bad. But if you have any ability, we do need to pay the lawyers. They're amazing, actually. We are in the middle of depositions. We had our first deposition of this phase, whatever it's called, just yesterday, and it went well. I think everybody did a good job, and it was interesting. It was interesting how they are coming out at the case. But either way, the legal fund is very important, and because we have to keep our lawyers paid, and they're doing a good job. And we're gonna win this. It's just gonna take for freaking ever, and I'll probably be personally bankrupt by the end of it too. But that won't matter because we will win it, and we will come out on the other side, reborn anew from the ashes. So make sure you watch us again next week on Super Happy Dragon Lucky. I'll take this down. And make sure you watch also the roundtable today, World Blockchain Roundtable today at 11 Eastern, 1500 UTC. That's in almost exactly 30 minutes. And make sure you follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and Jojo Rowe on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Den.Social. I think that's everything I need to get. I was going to play a different thing. That's why I was on the wrong theme. I was on the World Blockchain Roundtable thing when I started. So sorry about that. Maybe we'll edit it for rebroadcast. But either way, you guys have all of you have a great day, a great 30 minutes before the next show. We'll see you there. Thanks. Bye.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, raw capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.